Hi, my name is Alonzo Fleming, and I want to give my opinion on recent developments in Florida regarding the teaching of Black history. Recently, Florida pointed out that Black contribution to the development of this country had no significant thing that worthy of mentioning with respect to development of the country. And as a result of that, the advanced placement African American course was rejected by Floridians. And then, even more recently, Florida, the educational system of Florida, um, passed a law that would say that highlight the contention that slaves actually benefited from slavery, being put in bondage and held in bondage. This whole thing highlights that. I want to give my opinion regarding that and agree that it's obvious that the slaves benefited from slavery, and we are the proof. And I want to use a story or a scenario that will highlight how I arrived at this particular conclusion that it's obvious that slaves benefited from slavery. When you have a battered spouse who is getting beat, exploited, cheated on, and basically treated wrong, that spouse will stay in that marriage or in that relationship for as long as he or she sees a benefit in it. And you have what's called the battered wife syndrome, in which a wife will remain in a relationship, in a marriage, even though the husband is beating her, exploiting her, and misusing her and mistreating her. She stays in the relationship. It's obvious that there is some benefit that she sees. Maybe it's fear of leaving. Maybe it's fear that she's unable to survive on her own. Or maybe it's fear because he may threaten her that if he ever leaves her or if she ever leaves him, that there's some repercussions that's going to come as a result of that. But when the wife or husband no longer sees a benefit in the relationship, he or she leaves the relationship and divorces that particular spouse and goes her own way or goes his own way. So, using that scenario, I want to suggest that Florida, when it starts to highlight benefits, how crazy it may sound to us, there's a reason that they have come to that conclusion that there must have been a benefit of slavery. And I'm saying, I want to point out the reason, something that they're not saying. The reason that they can conclude that the slaves must have benefited from slavery is us. We are the proof that slavery benefited black people, and that benefit was passed down through generations to us. And the reason I say that is because no matter how much we get exploited, no matter how much we get cheated on, no matter how much we get misused, we refuse to leave the relationship. We refuse to change the dynamics of the relationship. We complain to the violent husband when he kills our children. We march and protest and bellyache when he takes our right to vote from us and does things to make it difficult to vote. And we continue to refuse to leave the relationship because there is some benefit that we are getting from this relationship as it is. And so, like the battered wife or the battered husband, when we finally come to the conclusion that there is no benefit in this relationship as it stands, the rules of the relationship as it stands, we then will be free. So I'm saying that there's a benefit, and that blacks benefited from slavery, and we are the proof because we refuse to leave the relationship.